600 episodes, and I'm going to let that land just for a second. 600 episodes with interviews, solo rants, strategy breakdowns, and honestly, what I sat down to think about, what I wanted to say for this milestone, I didn't want to do it as a clip show. I didn't want it just to be a thank you for the listener feast. That's not really the way that I do my shows. What I wanted to do was give you something useful, something that if you've listened to another episode after another, you'd still walk away with the most important thing I've learned over 18 years in business and over 600 episodes. And this is it. The fundamentals in business never change. It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur sitting in a bedroom, a 5-person startup burning through your first round of funding, or have a 5,000 plus organization with a C-suite and a boardroom. The fundamentals are always identical. The scale changes, the complexity changes, the pressure changes, but the foundations, they don't move. So today I'm going to walk you through them. The 10 fundamentals, every single one applies to you right now in business, wherever you are in this journey. So let's go. Point 1, sales is oxygen. Fundamental number 1 is sales. I'm going to be blunt. No business has ever survived without sales. Not one. And yet it's the thing that most founders, especially first timers, are most uncomfortable with. Sales is not manipulation. Sales is not being pushy. Sales is finding someone who has a problem, showing them that you can solve it, and then asking them to trust you with their money to deliver it. That's it. A solopreneur closes 1 new client a week, and a sales team closes 500 deals a month. They are all playing the same game. The mechanics are identical. Find the prospect, build the relationships, demonstrate value, ask for business. If your business is struggling right now, I bet everything that sales is, I'd bet everything that sales is broken or being avoided. Fix that first. Everything else is secondary. So do not forget that sales is the lifeblood of your business. You cannot exist. It's not a business, it's a hobby. So please just think about that. Whatever your size of business, you need to make sure that you've got someone selling, whether it's you, whether it's somebody else in your salesperson in your team. You need to have sales to actually have a business. Fundamental 2 is marketing. Here's a painful truth I've seen play out more times than I can count. Brilliant products, brilliant services, brilliant people, but going broke in silence because nobody knew they existed. Marketing is not just ads. Marketing is not just followers. Marketing is not going viral on LinkedIn or any other platform. Marketing is making the right people aware that you exist and giving them a compelling reason to share. At the solopreneur level, that might be a podcast. Hey, that's what I'm doing here. A newsletter, showing up consistently on one social platform. At the enterprise level, it's campaigns, brand strategy, demand generation. But the principle is exactly the same. Get in front of the right people consistently with a message that resonates. And I want to say something about consistently specifically, because this is where most people fall down. Marketing works through repetition. One post doesn't do it. One email doesn't do it. One podcast episode doesn't do it. 600 might. So just keep showing up. I always think of marketing as the front of a shop. You need to be able to show. So if it's a shoe shop, for example, you have your best shoes, your most trending shoes, your most important shoes on the front, that when people are walking by, they see it, they're intrigued, and then they go in, and that's when the sales process kicks in. So sales and marketing are interwoven with each other. I put them as separate things here because you need to have the marketing set up to attract the customer to come in, and then you sell them. So they are different things, but they are always interwoven. Fundamental 3 is talent, or as corporate people call it, HR. Now, some of you that you're listening are solopreneurs. You don't have a team. You might be thinking, this was not for me, and you'd be wrong. Even as a solopreneur, you have a talent strategy. It's just called something different. It's who you outsource to, who you bring in as a contractor, who you partner with, who you say yes to, and who you say no to. Your ceiling as a business is determined by the people around you, always. And at scale, whether it's your first hire or your 50th or your 500th, the quality of people you bring in is how you retain them, how you lead them, how you build a culture they want to stay in. That becomes the single biggest lever in business. Businesses don't scale, people do. I want you to remember that line. And the other thing about talent is if you're a solopreneur, you have to make sure that you are happy, you are motivated, you are marketing, are selling, are delivering. So just think of that. Yes, it can be someone that you're outsourcing to, and we all have used VAs, PAs, use admin assistants, and making sure that they are matching your culture and the way that you want to deliver your strategy and your business is totally important. But just remember that point, that sometimes as a solopreneur, you need to think about yourself as well. You know, something we hear again and again on business growth talks is that founders, leaders, and CEOs don't do it alone. They surround themselves with people who see what they can't. But if you're a founder running a business between 1 million and 20 million, here's the truth. Your accountant sees the numbers, your mentor shares their stories, and nobody sees the whole picture. That's the gap. CEO Friend closes it. AI-powered advisors across finance, marketing, strategy, and growth, personalized to your business, built on your data. They're where you need them. The quality of thinking that a proper board gives you without the cost. I've been using it myself, and I used a competitor analysis for my podcast guesting business. It gave me details of all of my competitors, and it gave me key findings of the industry, a SWOT analysis, and what I need to do section. It was so clear on strategy, and I loved the comments of what I needed to do next. It has really got me thinking about my business podcast introduction. We have a special offer just to business growth listeners. If you're serious about building business and having great minds supporting you in finance, marketing, strategy, and growth, then go to ceofriend.ai/offer and get a month for free with using my own code BGT10. Links below in the show notes. Fundamental 4 is finance. I'm not going to bore you with accounting because I'm not really that good at it, but I have to keep a control of my finances and my accounting as a business owner. But I'm going to be straight with you. If you don't understand your numbers, you don't understand your business. Full stop. Cash flow, gross margin, net profit, your break-even point. These aren't things you hand over to an accountant and forget about them. These are the vital signs of your business, and you need to know them like you know your own name. I've seen businesses with incredible revenue collapse because they run out of cash. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is reality. That's not a new quote, but it's a true one. Whether you're invoicing your first client or signing off your quarterly board report, know your numbers, get comfortable with them. Because the moment you don't, you're flying blind. And in business, flying blind ends one way. So you need to understand what those numbers are that are going to drive your business forward. Simple things like knowing your cash flow, knowing your profit, know your break-even point. These are things that you should be running. They could be KPIs. They could be KPIs that are running your business. And I've done an episode on KPIs before. So do check that episode out, because that is a great way of tracking. KPIs goes beyond finance, but finance would be a major component of you setting up your KPIs. So you need to know your numbers. Do not miss this. Do not ignore this. This is important, guys. Fundamental 5 is operations. This is the one nobody wants to talk about because it's not sexy. It might be the most important one for your sanity. Operations is the answer to one question. Does your business run on you, or does it run without you? Systems, processes, standard operating procedures, workflows. These aren't bureaucratic box ticking. They are what turns chaos, stressful, unpredictable grind into actual business. If you disappear for 2 weeks tomorrow, what would happen? If the honest answer is everything would fall apart, you don't have a business, you have a job. And it's a job with no holiday, no sick pay, and no one to complain to. Build the systems, document the processes, create the structure. It's the most boring thing I'll say today, and probably the most valuable. So this was something that I got a lot of experience working in corporate, was systems, processes, procedures, workflows. And I've been able to bring it into my business podcast introduction, because it's super important to make sure everything is documented. Because you bring someone in, you need to be able to explain what you need them to do. Someone leaves, you need to be able to explain them what to do. So just think about bringing in your operations aspect of your business, document everything. And it's like bureaucratic nonsense. It's really not. When you get like larger organizations, it can be built in, but in a business, a small business, you need to get stuff documented. People will leave, and if they do, you need to have that in place to be able to be successful. Fundamental 6 is leadership. Culture isn't a ping pong table. It's not a values poster on the wall or writing on the wall. Culture is what happens in your business when nobody's watching, and it flows always from the top. Whether you're a team of one or a team of 1,000, you are setting a standard every single day. How you treat people, how you make decisions, how you respond when things go wrong, whether you take accountability or you deflect. That standard becomes your culture, and the culture becomes the operating system of your entire business. Great culture attracts great people. It retains them also. It drives performance without you having to push. Poor culture does the opposite. It drives your best people out the door and leaves you wondering why you didn't seem to catch a break. It starts with you. It always starts with you. Culture is so important. I've been in companies where they blazon it on the wall and no one reads it, no one implements it, no one does it. So just think about that when you've got people that are looking after your clients, maybe as account managers, when you've got people delivering what your service or product is. You need to think about, when you're not managing them, what are they doing which is positive for your business? So leadership and culture is so important. Fundamental 7 is customer experience. Winning a customer can be expensive. Keeping one is where the profit lives. Think about your own business. What does it cost you in time, money, energy to land a new client? Now compare that to the cost of keeping one happy and renewing them. Customer experience is not a department, it's a function. It's the sum total of every interaction someone has with your business, from the first touch point to the 10th invoice. Do they value? Do they feel heard? Do they feel like working with you is easier than the alternative? If the answer to any of these is no, there's a leak. And leaks left long enough sink ships. Build for retention, surprise people, over deliver, make your clients feel like they've backed the right horse. That's the most powerful growth strategy, bar none. So this is the thing about customers and customer retention. If you've paid to get a client, whether it's from ads or time or post, whatever it is. If you can get them keep on renewing with you, you're then not paying to go and do the sales and marketing for them. So just really think about building great customer experience, care about your customers, and then they'll just keep on buying from you. So do not forget how you deliver with your customers. It is one of the most important things you do. If you don't deliver a great service, people are going to go away. And people might say bad things about you, but if you can retain them, you will keep them and they will keep on being profitable for you. Fundamental 8 is strategy. Strategy is not a luxury for big companies with strategy days and consultants. Strategy is a survival tool for businesses every size, and it starts on day one. Strategy is clarity on 3 things. Who do we serve? How do we compete? And critically, what do you say no to? That last one is the hardest. Saying no to revenue, to opportunities, to distractions. That discipline is what keeps you focused and moving in the right direction instead of burning energy in 50 directions at once. Without strategy, growth becomes chaos. You're busy, but you're not building. You're winning deals, but you're not in the right market. You're adding headcount, but not towards a clear goal. Know where you're going and know why, and say no to everything that isn't that. So saying no is one of the hardest things I think in business, because could be a toxic client, could be a opportunity that comes across your desk, and being open to opportunities is definitely a positive, but knowing when to say no to something is really, really important. So you've got to be clear who you're serving, what you're doing, how you're delivering it. If you can get that strategy right, you won't be confused. You won't be missed on other things. So just really think about the strategy for your business. Fundamental 9 is mindset. I've saved this one until the end deliberately because it underpins everything else on this list. Every business problem at its core is a thinking problem. The founder who can't delegate, mindset. The CEO who avoids the sales conversation, mindset. The business owner who keeps making the same hiring mistakes, mindset. Resilience, clarity, adaptability, the ability to stay rational when everything around you is on fire. These are not soft skills. These are the hardest skills. And they are the ones that determine whether you survive the hard seasons and come out stronger, or whether you fold. Your mindset filters through your entire organization. Your team reads you. They feel your energy. When you're panicked, they panic. When you're clear, they're calm. Do the work on yourself. Read, reflect, get a coach, a mentor, a peer group. Invest in your own thinking as seriously as you invest in your marketing budget, because the return on that investment is unlimited. So you need to think about your mindset. Often people think about coaches and mentors or peer groups, and that can be really, really valuable. And I would not say do not join one that you think is a good fit for you. But even just reflecting on how you're doing, having reflection points in your business, could be around the end of year. We often talk about reflecting how your year's gone. I like to reflect halfway through while I'm on holiday as well, around that sort of time, July, August time, because I think that's a really good time to reflect on how you're doing and how you're developing, how resilient you are. Do you feel that you need to pivot? Are you feeling that you've got clarity on your message? So really think about mindset and the ways that work for you to get that resilience and that clarity. So just think about that. And the 10th fundamental, which isn't on the original list, but is perhaps the most important, is this: none of this works in isolation. Sales without marketing is cold outreach forever. Marketing without sales is a brand awareness that does not convert. Great talent without leadership becomes dysfunctional. Finance without operations is profitable chaos. Strategy without mindset is a plan that falls apart the moment it gets hard. These fundamentals are a system. They feed each other, they reinforce each other. And when all of them are working together, even imperfectly, that's when businesses become genuinely unstoppable. So, there are my 10 fundamentals of business. Whatever the size you have as a business, you need to consider all of them. This is I've reflected on those 600 episodes and the conversation I had with Richard, and it's really made me think about strategies, frameworks, success stories, maybe even cautionary tales. But every time I think about that when I'm interviewing people or talking to you, those fundamentals are always in existence. Sales, marketing, talent, finance, operations, leadership, customer experience, strategy, mindset, and the discipline is to work on all of them together consistently over time. That's the game. It's not glamorous. It's not a hack. It's not a shortcut. It's the work. And you've been listening. Uh, if you've been listening to this episode and you've enjoyed it, thank you very much for joining me today. If you feel that you've got value, then please add in some comments, put a like on it, share it with someone who you think really needs to hear it, and leave a review if you haven't already. And as always, thank you very much for your time today, and on to the next one.